Hey, it's David Heatley here from Cycling Inform, and today I'm going to be talking about bunch riding skills, well, how to keep it safe and ride more efficiently and faster with other riders. So without further ado, I'll share my screen and we'll go through the slides I've prepared for you a couple of moments before. So here we go, bunch riding skills, how to keep it safe and ride more efficiently and faster with other riders. So let's get into these slides. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about why it's important to have good bunch riding skills. If you're new to bunch riding, why rocking up to a bunch ride is not a great idea without at least some formal training on bunch riding etiquette. An overview of the skills required for bunch riding, the skill levels. There's 3 skill levels that I'll be introducing you to in this video. I'll be talking about one of the golden rules for bunch riding that's incredibly important. If there's nothing that you get out of this video, this is the one thing that's going to make an amazing difference to your success and safety of not only yourself, but other riders around you if you get at least this one rule right. Okay, I'll then be talking about the 15 essential bunch riding skills that you'll need to master that we cover off in our bunch riding skills masterclass course. And I'll be offering you a limited time offer on our bunch riding skills masterclass course at the end of this video. All right, so let's get into it. Why is bunch riding skills so incredibly important? Well, you probably guessed, you know, when you're riding in bunches, you're literally placing your life in the hands of other riders, and that the safety of you and the other riders that you're riding with is directly dependent and related on the overall skills of the riders that you're riding with. So what that means is that if you're riding with really skilled riders and not so very skilled riders, basically the safety of that bunch is directly related to the overall skill level. And not just obviously the skill level of the more advanced riders. Now, obviously there's a stack load of skills to learn, but by having a solid understanding of them first, it'll help accelerate the process of learning them and keeping both yourself and the others safe out there on the road. All right. And sometimes riding with less skilled riders is unavoidable. So knowing how to manage riding with unskilled riders improves the safety of you and the others that you ride with. Now, new to bunch riding, this is one of the things, and I'll just get into this before I'll just stop sharing for a moment. One of the things about being initiated into bunch rides, sometimes you can be introduced to bunch rides and it's a pretty safe environment and things go really well, and the riders there are very supportive on helping introduce you to bunch riding etiquette, and that works out really well. But in a lot of cases, if you're new to bunch riding and you don't have the good fortune to find a group like that, you'll rock up to a bunch ride and you'll start doing things, and unbeknownst to you, you're basically riding unsafe because you don't know the etiquette around bunch riding. And as a consequence, people react very strongly to that. You'll get yelled at basically because you're fundamentally putting the lives of other people in danger. And when you do that, the natural response that we have as human beings, it's human nature, when we're feeling threatened, when our life is being threatened, you know, we take immediate action, and usually it involves yelling at the person that's doing the wrong things. Now, of course, this is a very bad way of learning bunch riding skills. So that's why it's really important, if you are a new person being introduced to bunch riding, that you at least understand the fundamentals before you rock up to a bunch ride. And that way, at least you've got a good solid foundation understanding, and then you can just start practicing, you know, your bunch riding skills with the riders, and dramatically reduce the chances of being yelled at and obviously being unsafe as well. Now, look, it's you know, it's no disrespect to new people getting into the sport, because it is incredibly daunting as well for a new rider. I mean, bunch riding just seems hellishly dangerous. I mean, you've got a whole lot of riders riding very fast, all very close together, and there's a lot of stuff that's going on in those bunches around etiquette and those sort of things, and to a newcomer to the sport, it's just incredibly daunting and just looks chaotic and very unsafe. But of course, it can be extremely safe riding in bunches if everybody's on the same level level of skill and understand what's going on. So I'll just go back to my screen here. Share screen. Cool. All right. So, so new to bunch riding, you may get yelled at for doing the wrong thing, and that's just normal. And look, you want to keep it safe for yourself and others as well. It's really important. So, if you're new to bunch riding, having a good foundation and understanding. All right. So, look, here's the 3 levels of bunch riding skills. I'll go through them. The first one is the beginner skills. That's a person that's new to bunch riding. It's really daunting, like I mentioned, for new riders when they rock up to a bunch ride. And everybody goes through it. Nobody is born an awesome bunch riding cyclist. We've all had to go through it as part of our journey of the rites of passage when we're working through, becoming a really good cyclist. And of course, everybody starts out the same. Even the very highly skilled riders that are riding in bunches, they would have started exactly, if you're new to bunch riding, they would have started exactly the same place that you're starting if you're new to bunch riding. So look, the focus on the beginner skill is to getting accustomed to riding in bunches while keeping it safe. That's really the fundamental basic skill. Then we've got these intermediate skills. Now, these intermediate skills are generally used for social group rides as well as slower event rides. And the focus is on keeping it nice and smooth, very predictable and very safe, and also efficient. We want to use the bunches because the reason why we ride in bunches is that, we can cover vastly huge amounts of distances and cover amazing terrain by working together as a bunch. And, it's a fantastic thing to be able to get involved in a bunch and all work together on a common goal of that particular ride and support each other through it, or, have a bit of a competitive sort ofness as well. So it's a great environment, and it's what draws us into cycling and riding in bunches, is that camaraderie that goes on within bunches. So so the intermediate skills focus specifically on, help keeping it smooth and predictable and safe, and obviously very efficient for everybody. So the advanced skills are more for racing cyclists and really fast bunch rides and faster events or fast events where there's a lot more movement in the bunch. There's a little bit less structure around the organization of the bunches, but there's also a lot more etiquette and also a lot more finesse around what's happening in the bunch, and those are things. And the focus on the advanced skills is on performance. So we want to make sure that we maximize and adjust to the conditions that we're presented with in the ride, whether it be winds or hills or whatever, or fast crosswinds or those sort of things, and to keep the speed high but also safe. So there's the advanced levels. So that's the 3 levels. The 3 levels are beginner skills, intermediate skills, and advanced skills. All right. So all right, so those are 3 levels of skills. Now, the golden rule of bunch riding. So this is really important. I'll just stop sharing for a moment. So the number one, and if there's anything that you learn out of this session today, this is a really important rule to learn. It's a fundamental thing that you must master in riding with bunches, and that is to protect your front wheel at all times and at all costs. So what I'm meaning when I say that is that when you're riding in bunches, riders will be moving around. And what you want to do is make sure that you don't get your front wheel knocked when you're riding with other riders. That's incredibly important. It's the number one golden rule to master. And so you really need to watch what's happening around your front wheel and make sure that no rider, with their rear wheel will run into that front wheel of yours, because if they do, there's an incredibly high chance of you coming off, and if there are any riders immediately behind you, then they'll probably end up coming off as well. So it's incredibly important that you keep that front wheel really super safe when riding in bunches. Now, of course, if you're in bunches and you're overlapping wheels, that's where you've got a person with their bike's here and you're here, and you've got your front wheels overlapping their rear wheel. It's for those people that are new to cycling, it's a very dangerous situation, and it can, you're basically opening yourself up to having your front wheel taken out. Of course, in the more advanced riding skills, we master the ability to be able to ride with overlapping wheels. I'll talk about that a little bit later on. It's one of the skills that we use. It's an advanced skill to be able to ride well overlapping rear wheels. And but it's really important that, you know, if you do overlap wheels, that you really need to be very, very conscious of what's happening there. Another time where you may find that your front wheel will be taken out is when you're riding up a hill. You may be riding up a hill behind another rider, and for whatever reason, they change gear or they stand up or they stall the bike. Happens. It's happened to me. I've been riding in events and on social rides and been climbing behind a rider, and they'll stall the bike, and I've run into the back of them and fallen off myself. So just be mindful that when people are on climbs, that we need to allow for that. All right, so that we either sit a little bit to the side of their wheel, or we sit a little bit further back, to take into account the fact that if they stand up, they'll slow down and they may come back onto you. Now, of course, that not necessarily happens on hills. It may happen on the flat. You may have a rider that's riding along the flat, they change gear and just momentarily slow down. And, you know, what you want to do is make sure that when you're riding in bunches that you're sitting just slightly to the side of their wheel. It just gives you a little bit more time to move. All right, so that's the one golden rule. Hope that's been beneficial. All right, so let's talk about the 15, I'll just share my screen for a moment. All right, share screen, the 15 essential bunch riding skills. Now, we've put together a training package. It's a masterclass. We put it together a few years ago. We've literally sold hundreds of copies of it, and it's been really beneficial to help with all aspects. It's basically the definitive guide. It's everything that I know about bunch riding that I put into a training package, a masterclass. It's all video content, and it covers off the 15 essential bunch riding skills that you need to know from you know, level 1, the basics, intermediate and advanced levels. So it covers off the 3 levels. And what I'm going to do is I'm just share my screen. I am sharing my screen, and I will just jump into the website page. So here are the 15 essential bunch riding skills to keep you safe and riding with greater confidence, and obviously riding faster and safer. So how to keep it safe and ride more effectively and efficiently with other riders. So this is the masterclass here. We've got a special on it. I'll talk about that a little bit later on. So here are the modules in it. So the first module is the number 1 golden rule for riding in bunches safely. Now, I've covered off a little bit of that, but we actually cover off a little bit more detail in module 1. That's the video that we go through in module 1. Module 2 is one of those beginner skills. It's building confidence to get close to other riders and sitting on a wheel. So we show you the correct 2-step process around that to quickly getting up to speed and building your confidence to start riding in bunches. So module 2 is really the introductory beginner sort of stuff. Module 3 becomes a little bit more advanced from that. We cover off the different roles within bunches, and of course, where you're sitting in the bunch, there's 3 distinct different roles. There's what you do when you're riding at the front of the bunch, what you do when you're riding in the middle of the bunch, and what you do when you ride at the end, when you're riding at the end of the bunch. So the different roles and those positions, you know, the way that you and the etiquette associated with those, each position has specific responsibilities as a rider in those 3 different positions, and we cover off that in module 3. So and these are really, really important for people that are riding in group rides, that are social group rides, and, you know, your friends and your mates out riding in bunches. Understanding these 3 roles is critically important to keeping things nice, smooth and safe, and obviously efficient. So module 4, we talk about bunch riding etiquette, and I go into quite a lot of detail around bunch riding etiquette, around, you know, what you should be doing out on the road and how it all works and those sort of things. So, you know, these are really the unspoken rules of bunch riding. This module is actually one of the longest because there's a stack load of stuff that I cover off in module 4. Okay, so that's really good. And that module 4 is, you know, it covers off bunch riding etiquette for people that are beginning bunch riding, and also people that have been riding for a while that are sort of at the level 2, the intermediate level of bunch riding skills. So it's a really important module. So if you're new to riding, it's going to be really informative. And if you're you know, been riding for a while, it's going to help brush up your skills. And also, it's if you're able to implement some of those skills with the people that you're riding with, you'll find that the bunch will ride a lot more smoother and safer as a consequence of implementing a lot of stuff that I cover off in module 4. Module 5 is a common bunch riding call signs. And again, this is great for new and intermediate riders. And again, it's going to help you if you're new to riding or obviously been riding for a while. For the same reasons as Module 4. So Module 5, we talk about the common call signs that are used within bunches, and also how to communicate them properly up and down the bunch and those sort of things. So that's really, really important. Module 6, we start working in some of the more advanced bunch riding skills, the formations that we use when, and this is really in a response to the environment. Whether it's a crosswind or a headwind, or you're going uphill, downhill, those sort of things. So we talk about drafting, aerodynamic efficiencies, and the 3 main bunch formations that there are, and which ones to use when. And that basically we're starting to talk, move more into the advanced level of bunch riding skills and being able to improve the overall performance of the bunch while keeping it safe. So you can ramp up the efficiency of the bunch and make it more high speed. Just by implementing a lot of these skills in Module 6 and doing it in a very, very safe way, because obviously as the speed increases, things happen a lot more quickly, and you've got to react a lot more quickly. So, there's a whole lot more, there's a higher level in which you need to operate within bunches to be able to master some of these formations and things. So Module 7 is an intermediate level skill, rolling turns. And it's amazing, like I ride in a lot of bunches, and it's amazing how many people get this fundamentally wrong. And so I talk about the absolute correct way in Module 7 on how to roll turns. Not only how to roll turns in a very safe way, but also to make it really ultra smooth so that you get the maximum benefit out of all the riders that are working together. So it's a fantastic module, and it really, you'll be amazed, like I say here, you'll be amazed at how fast and safe and efficiently you can get your bunch riding up at high speed. So if you're an intermediate rider and you really want to master the art of riding super efficiently and rolling turns in a bunch and getting that sorted out, then Module 7 is just awesome for that. So Module 8 is getting into a more of advanced, more intermediate intermediate and beginner, actually. Module 8, we talk about how to sit and not get dropped in fast moving bunches. So once you've gotten up to speed in a fast moving bunch, I talk about some of the tips that I've used to basically, help you maintain your position within a fast moving bunch and not to get dropped out the back of it when things go a bit crazy, like at the end of rides. I mean, who hasn't been in a bunch ride and they've gotten to the end of the ride and it just turns into a bit of a race? So Module 8 covers off basically how to keep yourself really super efficient and being able to obviously stay in fast moving bunches. And you'll be amazed at how once you master these skills, that you'll be able to sit in really fast moving bunches without putting out a lot of energy at all. It's a pretty amazing skill set to learn, and that I teach you in Module 8. Module 9 talks specifically around how to ride safe on windy days. Of course, obviously things get a bit crazy when it's windy, and you get, as cyclists, we get blown around a bit. And of course, now that we've got a lot more riders are riding, deep rimmed wheels, they're catching the wind a little bit more. So Module 9 talks about how to safely ride on windy days in bunches. And it's an incredibly important skill to learn, and it's part of the rites of passage as a rider. Module 10, positioning on the road and where to look. This is kind of a pretty fundamental foundation sort of module. It's beginner to intermediate skill level. And it talks about, how to work around busy traffic, where to look in the bunch is important too. And the 2 key skills in detail on how to make sure that you keep out of trouble as well. So Module 11, a definitive guide to gatekeeping. Now I talked about this, one of the earlier modules, I talked about the 3 positions within the bunch and the roles and responsibilities. One of the roles is being a gatekeeper. And it's such an important role that I cover it off in detail in Module 11, specifically, how that role works and how you can use it to keep the bunch really nice and tight and efficient. And it's a really important skill to master. And I've been, I actually like the gatekeeper position. I think it's a fantastic position, and it's really amazing what you can do with the gatekeeper stuff. But there's a whole lot of etiquette and stuff and skills that you need to acquire to be able to run the gatekeeper position. And I cover it in module 11, of course. Module 12, safe bunching, riding out in busy roads. This is just a general module for bunches that are having to navigate themselves through busy traffic. That obviously is just the, we have to do that on a daily basis when we're, it's just a regular thing that happens when we're riding out in bunches. We have to integrate with the traffic around us. And basically, this module covers off how to do that safely, and also not to upset the other road users. We want to keep it nice and safe for both ourselves and also for the other users, and, keep the etiquette high within bunches so we're not upsetting people, and, minimal impact and less conflict. All right. Module 13, as you know, this is amazing. This is like 2.5 hours of content that I deliver in this bunch riding course. And I'll just stop sharing for a moment. So I've got 3 more modules I'll go through, but I just wanted to give it a break because it's kind of a bit of a mind swell. So there's about 2.5 hours of video content in this. And on top of that, I've actually got some bonus content of me actually riding out on the road, and some of the stuff that I'm doing and what I'm looking for when I'm riding. So just be mindful of that. There's also some videos of me doing some racing, and I'm showing you what's happening within these fast-moving bunches and how people are moving around and what to look for and things. So the bonus modules that I don't even talk about in this webpage as part of this masterclass. So anyway, I'll get into and cover off the last 3 modules. So I'll start sharing my screen again. All right, so module 13, how to safely negotiate road hazards in a bunch. It's an important module to understand. Obviously, when we're riding around, roads and those sort of things, there's a whole lot of road traffic and furniture and stuff that we have to navigate, and it's important we do it in a safe way. Module 14, how to identify and avoid rogue riders in bunches. So rogue riders, these are riders that are just, safe. 1 minute you're riding along in a bunch, and the next moment you're on the deck after being taken out by a rogue rider. I'm struggling with that today. Anyway, so this module talks about how to identify and avoid rogue riders. Those are the riders that just are just doing stupid things in front of you, and they're going to take you out if if they get caught up in something. So it's how to manage that. Module 14, it's a really important skill to learn. Module 15, the safest place to riding in a bunch. Now, when this is more an advanced skill, it's usually more for when you're riding in really fast moving bunches where there's a lot of movement going around. Module 15 talks specifically, and this is more for racing cyclists or people that are riding in very fast moving racing events or fast moving bunches or fast moving recreational rides. So this module 15 talks about the safest points, safest places to ride within bunches when everybody's moving around and there's a little bit of chaos going on. So it's an incredibly important module to find out about. All right, so I'm going to stop sharing for a moment. Okay, so that's the 15 things that you need to master as a cyclist. It's part of your journey to becoming really awesome on the bike. And of course, we have an amazing promotion on at the moment. It is limited by time, so you need to make a decision on whether you want to get involved in it or not and purchase it.